Hello there, and thank you for coming along with us on this full ship tour of the Celebrity Ascent, the newest Edge-class ship in Celebrity's fleet. So in this video tour, we're going to have a map in the bottom right and a deck and description in the bottom left to kind of help keep you along with where you're going. So starting out here on deck 3, the kids camp at sea is up front, and then the only way to get to the back part of deck 3 is through the cabins here. And those cabins will lead you towards the aft included restaurants, Normandy and Tuscan. Now, Normandy is their French-inspired main dining restaurant, and Tuscan is the Italian-inspired. They're going to offer very similar entrees throughout the cruise, but they will have a few separate dishes that are French-inspired for Normandy and Italian-inspired for Tuscan, as well as kind of their own desserts that are of the same way, inspired by French or Italian cuisine. So as we're taking a tour around Tuscan here, you'll kind of see they do have their own themes as well between the two restaurants. As we head forward, we're gonna go up to an eye lounge area that's also connected to where guest relations is at. This area is kind of midship, and this is where you'll go if you need questions answered. You can get help with the internet down here if you have a Wi-Fi package or things like that. They'll also hold some special things going on down here depending on the cruise. And then here in the Grand Plaza, you're going to find the Martini Bar, and on this ship they have it designed a little bit differently, but this is their large gathering area where they do a lot of different events out here in the Grand Plaza. So in order to make this tour make a little bit more sense, we're going to magically zip on up to the front part of deck 4 and into the main theater area here. The main theater here on this ship is probably the most advanced main theater you will find on any cruise ship at sea anywhere in the world. That screen in the back is a fully movable $10 million LED screen that can be programmed to do just about anything they want. The stage will have various different effects that they can do on stage with curtains or so many other things that I've seen them do. The theater is actually quite large, and we're actually going to go ahead and go through both decks 4 and 5 of the theater here just to make it make a little bit more sense for you. I'm not going to keep dragging you around different decks, so this is basically what the entire main theater looks like here. Now we're going to start heading aft, and as we head aft out of the theater, you're going to come past a few of the shops that they have here on deck 4, but then this is also going to lead you into an area called Club. The Club is a smaller venue where they will hold different entertaining events throughout the day. They'll have games, they'll have trivia, they'll do some various different stuff here in the Club, and then late at night they will sometimes do a late night Edencast show in here that fits better in the Club than it would back in the environment back in Eden. So just kind of watch your schedule for some of those fun things. The Club is actually a fairly large place, and they can hold quite a few people. As you go up to the upper deck here on the Club, this is actually up on deck 5 again, but they actually have a few differences in here. The other Edge-class ships, I don't think they have video games up here. This is something that we discovered that was kind of new here on the Ascent. So anyway, there's always differences from ship to ship, and I'll try and point some of those out as we go along. Since the Ascent is the newest one, there will be a few differences as we go through this from some of the other Beyond, Edge, Apex ships. So as we leave the Club and keep heading aft, you're going to go past Future Cruise if you want to go ahead and book an upcoming cruise and get kind of a bonus or discount through that. And then you're also going to come up here and end up in the shore excursion area. You will also end up going through another eye lounge area where you can get additional help with the internet, or I believe they even sell some electronics if you wanted to buy a GoPro or something else like that they have here for sale. And if you'd like to do something for free instead, we would really love a like and a subscribe on these videos if you find them helpful at all. Now as we keep heading aft, you're going to come back into Cafe El Baccio, This is just off to the starboard side of the Grand Plaza, and in here you're going to find specialty coffees that you would typically have to pay for, but they also have a desserts window right next to the coffee area, and those cookies and treats throughout the day are free. Now here's kind of an upper view of the Grand Plaza and the different levels that they have. There are multiple seating levels and areas here in the Grand Plaza. And it's kind of nice because sometimes you either just want to come down and grab a drink, or they have live music going on down here, or they have some special event going on down here. And there's a lot of seating to be able to view that. And then back up on deck 4, you'll have Voyage, which is their French-inspired specialty restaurant, which is at a cost. Le Grand Bistro is also the same. They do some pastries and lunches and different quick serve foods up here. I believe they also do La Petite Chef in here on certain nights. This restaurant kind of turns into, again, another paid-for specialty restaurant experience that the Ascent offers. And then as you're kind of coming back through Le Grand Bistro, you're going to run into Craft Social. This is kind of the casino bar, sports bar, kind of everything catch-all bar that they have here on deck 4 in the Grand Plaza. Now, I'm going to take you on a very quick tour of the casino, which is obviously the most expensive place you could probably spend your specialty dollars. But there is just going to be a quick run through here so you get an idea of what it's like. There will be a link at the end of this video with a very full, complete tour of this casino. It will be a lot more in depth and give you a lot more information about the casino and how all of that works, just to give you a little better idea of ways you can kind of maximize your time or help you out if you're a gambler and really enjoy spending time here in the casino. Now, as we head out the aft side of the casino, we're going to come back to the other two main dining restaurants that are included in your cruise. Cyprus is a Greek-inspired, Mediterranean-inspired, I guess, restaurant that will also have various different specialty items on their menu. And then across the way from Cyprus is Cosmopolitan, which is kind of an Americana-inspired restaurant. They have a little bit more traditional dishes that you would be a little bit more familiar with, but they're not any necessarily specific type of cuisine that you'll run into in here. Now this area, we're gonna head up the stairs that are out here in this plaza area and start off deck 5 here in the aft section of the ship. This area is kind of its own separate area. There is this little tunnel that divides the aft part of deck 5 from the forward section of deck 5. Back here you're going to find Blue. Now Blue is a dining restaurant that is for the Aqua class guests only. They are the only ones that can use it. And then after that there's a little shop, and then you're going to end up heading back into the Eden area. This is a kind of its own separate area. Eden is a very tranquil environment. They've done it that way intentionally. It's very comfortable to be back here. They have their own bar. They have their own restaurant that's of the same name. The Eden restaurant back here is very, very good. The food is excellent back here, and you can book it at a cost. It is a specialty restaurant, but if you do get a chance, I actually really recommend getting a night to eat down in Eden. It's an experience all on its own. Now here in Eden, they have these stairs that go up to the upper level of Eden. There's a little seating, reading area up here, as well as an extra seating area to overlook what would be the stage area for the performances and events that go on down in Eden, down on deck 5. This is kind of an overlooked area. It's actually very quiet up here throughout the day when nothing's going on. And then as you get past this seating area, these windows look out the back of the ship, sides and back of the ship, and it's actually a really nice, quiet, pleasant place to come take in the view throughout the day as you're sailing or you're in port someplace. kind of hang out, hop in a little swing there, or hang out in one of the chairs. And then they also have the Eden Cafe back here, which does do lunch and is sorta paid and a whole bunch free. They have a bunch of sandwiches up there that are free, but they do have a few premium sandwiches that are at a cost. The restaurant also has other items over here like soups and desserts and some sandwiches and salads and fruits that you can get if you just want something a little bit different than the buffet in a little bit quieter area. Alright, so now I'm going to take us back to the place where we started on deck 5 at that upper stairwell area, and we're going to head forward through this mirrored fantasy artistic walkway that every one of the Edge class ships does have, but they are all done differently. They all have different artwork, a different feel, different lighting, just kind of a slightly different setup, but they all have this walkway that divides the aft section of deck 5 from the more traditional areas up in the forward section of deck 5, like the shops and the restaurants and the Grand Plaza area. Now here we come to Fine Cut Steakhouse. This is a specialty restaurant that is steak and seafood inspired. It's like a fine dining steakhouse. You will typically get a very good meal in here. It is not necessarily cheap, but you'll have a pretty good experience dining in here. The food is usually spot on without too much trouble. I've never had anything bad in here at any point. And then as you leave the Fine Cut Steakhouse, we're going to head across this bridge that overlooks the Grand Plaza up on deck 5. A lot of times you'll see people standing up here watching some event going on down in the Grand Plaza, or just making it an easy way to get across to the other side of deck 5. And across the other side of deck 5, you'll have Raw on 5, which is their sushi restaurant that it doesn't serve just sushi. They do have other oriental dishes that you can get as well. The food in Raw on 5 is served a la carte. You will pay for what you order, just like in a traditional restaurant, and the food in here is very good. And then across the way from Raw on 5 and a little bit forward, you're going to run into the World Class Bar. This is kind of their specialty bar that has a really nice overlook on deck 5 out into the Grand Plaza if you're lucky enough to get one of these seats to view some of the events that are going on out here throughout the day. Then heading forward on deck 5, we're going to kind of speed our way through the art gallery. They'll have different pieces of art, hold different events, and stuff that you can buy on board if you so choose. And this also is the entrance into the theater for deck 5, but we've already been in there, so we're going to kind of skip past all of that. But this is just another way to get into the theater from deck 5. Then out on the outside deck area towards the aft port side, outside of Eden, you're going to find this covered area. This is one of the smoking areas on the ship, so just be aware of that. If you don't smoke, that is a smoking area. And then there are other deck spaces up here that head forward on deck 5 that just have some really nice outdoor spaces that are closer down to the water if you want to kind of spend a little bit of time outside here. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and skip past all the cabin decks on 6 through 12 and head straight up to 14 in the forward section. Now as you are at the forward elevators and start to head aft on deck 14, you're going to come out into the solarium pool area. This is a covered, enclosed indoor pool area. This is considered kind of a quiet pool area. It is typically adults only. There are some family time hours throughout the day, but for the most part, this is just a very comfortable, padded pool chair, restful area that is kind of meant as just a little tranquil space that is apart from the main pool area. It's actually very pretty in here. There's a fair amount of space. There are a few hot tubs in here that will allow for some relaxation. There are some really beautiful views out the side of the ship as well. And I tried to give you the different feel day to night as you go through this area, just to kind of give you an idea of what the space is like. Out in this area, there is also a spa cafe. Now, the spa cafe has stuff that is free, and there is some stuff that is paid for. So just kind of be aware of that when you're out here. Not everything is free out there. Now, as we leave the solarium area, we're going to start to head aft out into the main pool area. This is some night shots of it, and it also kind of shows the main pool area here up on deck. There's the pool bar there at the back, and then kind of what the pool area is like early in the morning, as well as one of the big champagne hot tubs up there. And then as you continue heading back through the Ocean View Cafe, this is their main buffet. On these Edge class ships, this buffet is excellent. There is a huge variety of food. Their food that they serve is really good. This is probably about the best buffet food you're going to get on any cruise ship anywhere. Out the back of the main buffet area, there is also additional seating that you can kind of come out here and dine at al fresco. This is on an outside deck, just back past the pizza area. Now, this stairwell here goes up to deck 15, but here you'll see some people up there, and that is a smoking area. Now, as you kind of go back the other side, you'll find various different kinds of food here. Sorry, I did this in a little bit in reverse, but it still gives you a really good idea of what this buffet area is like. There's a lot of food and a lot of space in that island style buffet there. So the Ocean View Cafe has a lot of seating, but it is so good that that seating is sometimes not enough. It can get very busy in there. Now back out here on the main pool area, this is kind of one of the artistic little designed walkways that make this ship unique in so many different ways. These ships are actually really beautiful in their architecture and the way they're designed. There is a masked grill out here that serves like hamburgers, hot dogs, drinks, ice cream, and then it's connected up here by the bar at the main pool area. Just kind of give you a little idea of what this is like out here on the main deck. This is done, I'm sorry, very early in the morning. There will be some shots later on through the daytime, but just wanted to give you a feel of it without any people. So now I'm going to start out here on deck 15, directly above that bar at the pool area. This is kind of split into two little areas. This is just a little extra lounge seating space. It is just a kind of a quiet little area that you can come up and sit here. They'll obviously have a TV going with some sports there throughout the day. And then you can walk across this little walkway that gives you a really nice overlook of the pool. And as it goes across to the other side, the starboard side over here is actually another one of the smoking areas on board the Ascent. So just kind of be aware. It's just kind of a nice little quiet area where you can come out and smoke, and it's not necessarily going to affect anybody or bother anybody over here. So anyway, this is this little section. I'm sorry deck 15 is going to be split up a little bit, but it is actually a kind of a split up deck in a lot of different ways. So just kind of bear with me here. After this, we're going to kind of head back to sort of deck 14. The entrance to the spa is on deck 14, and this spa area has a set of stairs that runs up to deck 15 and takes you into the fitness center. You can also take the stairs, the main stairs by the elevator to get up here, but I figured I'd do kind of a little quick tour of that. Now, the deck 15 fitness center area here is a very, very nice gym. They have some of the latest techno gym equipment. There is a lot of workout equipment. This is even a little bit better equipped than the previous Edge class ships. More weights, more machines, a little bit more equipment that they kind of fit into the same space. This is actually a pretty nice. It does get full. There are times in the morning where it is difficult to come in here and find space. You will be waiting for a treadmill sometimes. You'll be waiting for some of the cardio equipment sometimes. And the weight areas can absolutely fill up throughout the day. But it isn't too terrible. It's a little bit better than, and a little bit of an improvement over the previous Edge class ships. So now, for those of you that have Peloton subscriptions, I apologize. They do not have any Peloton bikes. They've gone with these newer Techno Gym bikes. They are capable of using your Apple or Samsung watch as an alternative, but they, sorry, do not have the Peloton equipment there. And then they do have this area back here with a bathroom and a scale if you want to scare yourself a little bit. And they do also have this spinning classroom that they can use as well back in here. Now we're going to go ahead and head to the aft section of Deck 15. This is the jogging track, and this kind of goes around Deck 15 in a lot of the areas. This is kind of some different views I was able to get of the Magic Carpet to give you an idea of what it is. The Magic Carpet is its own little bar or restaurant that sits on the side of the ship and kind of gives you some really beautiful views while underway. The track also runs all the way around the pool on Deck 15 and kind of heads up and around on 16, which I'll show a little bit later. But this will kind of give you an idea of what the main pool looks like at night. And then also during the day here, you'll get an idea of just how busy this pool can get as they hold different events and do different things here at the main pool. It is actually a really large pool though, so you know, there's a lot of space if you get out there a little bit early. They do have some ping pong tables. And then this is also one of the other differences on the Beyond and the Ascent. They added these two plunge pools here up on Deck 15, just as extra pool space, since I guess the main pool gets so busy out there, they decided to add a little bit extra to see if they could take some of that load off the main pool on this particular ship. Now the infinity pools back here are next to the restaurant that they have out here, the Rooftop Garden Grill. This is a specialty restaurant that is for a cost, but it is a less expensive cost than some of the other specialty restaurants. And then out here on the Rooftop Garden, they have a huge TV screen that they'll do different sporting events. They'll also run pickleball throughout the day if you want to come out and play pickleball. They have a lot of different events that they do up here in the Rooftop Garden for some additional entertainment. And then here at the back of Deck 15 is the Sunset Bar. This is arguably one of the most picturesque bars to come back and grab a drink at. It's also an extra little lounge area for people to bring their towels back here and hang out, but day or night, this actually has quite an amazing view for coming out and grabbing a drink. And then the jogging track here also runs next to a lot of Deck 15's outdoor lounge space as well. This jogging track is actually very useful for moving people around between Decks 15 and 16. And it also is a little bit different design than on the Edge and the Apex. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and start Deck 16. Deck 15 and 16 are joined by the jogging track. The jogging track heads kind of up this slope and gives you a really nice view of the main pool area, and is typically the way that most people will go between 15 and 16 when they're out here on deck. They have the access to the different hot tubs, these two champagne hot tubs that they have out here as well. Now, on embarkation day, we were able to kind of go on into the retreat area and give you a walk around tour of this specialty cabin, I guess, area. The retreat is only for retreat guests. They have paid a significant amount of money to have one of these cabins up in the forward section of Deck 15-16. And as a result, they do get their own set aside ship within a ship space out here on Decks 16 and 17. But it was kind of easy to kind of get in here and give you a view on day of embarkation as they kind of let people walk through the deck space. without letting you into the cabin areas. So anyway, the retreat area is actually, it's very, very nice, very comfortable, but I will tell you right now, it is very expensive. It can be easily twice as much as a regular cabin would be. So just for a little quick tour of something that they do that's extra special without me actually having to pay the kind of money that the retreat cabins do demand. All right, now as we go ahead and head back out to where most of the guests are going to spend their time out on deck, this jogging track that goes around 15 and 16 actually has a whole lot of deck space, some really nice views, and a lot of times it is the entrance to go into the magic carpet up here on deck 16 as well. But it does afford for a really nice view of the pool, and it is also the entrance into those champagne hot tubs. So there is also a bar up here on 16. It is called the Masked Bar, and does provide bar service and drink service for those up here on 16. Figured I'd do it at night so that you can actually see what it looks like instead of with 100 people all around it trying to get a drink back here as well. And then as we leave the Masked Bar, we're gonna just kind of finish up here with the last of the walking track up on 16, where it would head back down to 15 and give you one of the amazing ocean views from up here on this deck as we finish up this tour. And as always, if you find this helpful or beneficial in any way or entertaining, by all means, please give us a like and a subscribe. Subscribing is free and it really does help out the channel. And thank you so much for watching.